The following is a Comfortably Zoned Radio Network production.
Thank you, Telly Olson. I am back. You are comfortably zoned with me, the Zig Zag Man, Alameda, California, right across the bay from San Francisco, across the moat from Oakland. And I promise my audience that I will speak to the most interesting people on the planet. Today is no exception. He's not only a returning guest, but an old buddy of mine from, when we were in Boise with Mal Fishman, I'll ask you Rodney Tafoya. That's how far back we go.
I was in Boise in 1989, summer of,
right the year before my kid was born. And he's 33. So that gives you some, or 32. And that gives you some insight into my mathematical ability and how long it's been. You were, at that time, a first-year professional ball player with the Boise Hawks, and it was Mal Fishman, if I remember correctly, ran that
Correct.
team. And do you know that he was a friend and a partner of Ed Kranepool of the Mets? I don't know.
Yes, I do. I do.
Tell me everything you know about Mal Fishman, because I know very little, and I got along so well with him in Boise and with all you guys. I signed you guys to your Topps contract as a representative of that company, the card company. And in my files, I still probably have a copy of that contract with Rodney Tafoya.
I still have my original check that you gave me.
Wow. That was called meal money in those days. It was a $5.
$5.
Right. And it's worth every bit as much in your memory as the meal would have been in your memory. Glad you have it. I'm glad you keep it. And my name is scribbled on there.
I actually cherish it, Ralph.
Wow. You were a little guy. You were very thin, if I remember correctly. 19, 20 years old?
Yeah, I was right out of college. I had just graduated from Newman University in Wichita, Kansas. I received a call late night from Mal Fishman saying that he was interested in seeing me pitch, and I had pitched in the AAA Mexican League, and I went back to Newman to get my degree in business. And he said, well, how can you get out of there on this date and meet me in California, Ontario? And I said, sure, I'll pay my way and I'll go. 100 invite-only tryout camp, and his intentions were to find a number 5 starter for his rotation and maybe a couple other players. So I went down in hopes of making the team, and it was Class A Northwest League. And I thought, well, what have I got to lose? I'm going to get a degree here in a month. I have nothing to lose. I'm a 5th-year baseball guy in the Newman program, getting a full ride still. So I said, sure, I'll go down. And lo and behold, long story short, he signed me. I made it. I went to Boise as the number 5 starter, and I stuck there the whole season.
Wow.
And I put up a real nice 3.26 ERA. And when Fitchman left the next year to the New York Penn League in Erie, Pennsylvania, he took me with him.
Well, I didn't realize he went on from Boise. But let me tell you a little bit about what I know of that Northwest League that in Oregon and in Washington. You got to play teams in Yakima, Washington, if I'm not mistaken. Is that not beautiful country?
It was the most beautiful place I had ever seen in my life. Yakima was not there. They had Spokane. Spokane was led by Bruce Bochy of the Padres at that time. Then you had Eugene Emeralds. You had Klamath Falls. You had Boise, of course. You had a place called Everett by Snohomish, Washington. You had Bellingham, and you had Bend, Oregon. So that about
Bend, Oregon is what you must be referring to as the most beautiful place on earth.
Oh my God, it was gorgeous. It was like a place we have here at home called Pecos, New Mexico. It's in the mountains, and it reminds me exactly of Bend.
The first time I saw Bend, and incidentally, the team that you played for, Boise, eventually was it?
Yeah, they got signed by the Cubs.
Ben moved to Portland. You got signed by the Cubs out of that league?
No, Boise ended up being an affiliate of the Cubs, and then the Angels, of course, and
right.
Mal Fitchman was long gone by then.
Jack Kane owned the Boise, the Bend team, and that was interesting. Let me tell you a quick story about Bend, Oregon. I got to see the first time, went up there on early, it was a Friday night, and I got to see unexpectedly the first two black managers to manage against each other in organized baseball history.
Wow.
And one of them was a fellow who I befriended, Daryl Thomas.
Of course.
And he managed against, the name skips me. I think it was a fellow by the name of Turner. And it made history, and very few people realize that. I mean, Frank Robinson never managed against another black person. Maury Wills never managed against another black person. But those two managed against each other on that Bend field. And I got to witness it. It was the first time.
If I may say, Daryl Thomas managed the year before Fitchman came in '88.
I didn't remember that offhand. Wow. Daryl Thomas was among the 100 great guys that I met in baseball. I'm not going to put a number out.
So, Ralph, I want to tell you a little bit about Mal Fitchman, something that you don't know that you'll be amazed by.
Please.
So not only did he sign me in '89 with the Northwest League, he called me one day in 2003, and he said, "How would you like to scout with me?" I said, "Wow, Mal, I would love to." He said, "Well, I'm with the Padres. I'll have you come to Peoria, and I'll get you suited up, and I'll tell you what the pitching coordinator duties are. I said, sure, I'd love it. So long story short, I became a scout with the Padres, and I worked with Mal closely. We were trying to get independent guys like he's famous for. Mm-hmm. And when that ended, I ended up playing independent baseball all over again at the age of 40 up to 57. And then Mal switched over to the Phillies, and he said, would you like to follow? And I said, sure, Mal. Well, Mal showed up here in Santa Fe at a game and bought me a hot dog and a soda. And he said, can you find this guy for me? I said, sure. He's on the other dugout for Tucson. I know who he is. Are you interested in signing him? He goes, yeah. Go give this to him and let's get in contact with him. Well, Mal was wearing a 2008 Philadelphia Phillies World Series ring.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Very,
how about that?
Very cool. That is a great story, because over the years, I often wondered what happened to him. I knew nothing about scouting, his scouting role, and this thrills me as much as I'm a Mets fan and I'm an anti-Philly guy. I'm a Mal Fishman guy. He was so good to you guys. I never saw a manager communicate with his players as in 1989, except for one exception, a guy who ties him, a guy you mentioned a few moments ago, Bochy. Bochy was the manager of Spokane, and later Everett. But he was a player's manager. Both of them were, and it showed through in the look in their eyes, the gleam in their eyes, their love for baseball, their love for what they were doing, and young players, developing young players.
All right.
What was your best experience in independent ball? All those years, you won a record number of games. How many games have you won over the years?
In amateur ball, I am exactly at 459 wins. One more will get me to 460, and that's what I hope for. So I pitched all over the world, and one of my greatest experiences was I threw a start against the Eugene Emeralds, where I struck out 10 batters, no walks, and I won that game. But the most remarkable thing about that game that I remember is I held an All-American outfielder by the name of Kevin Long, who was later a batting coach for the New York Yankees. And he went to the Mets, he went to the Phillies, the Washington, and I held him to an 0 for 4 game.
Wow. Wow. He was a hitting coach, so he knew something about batting for sure.
He never made the big leagues, but he sure was a very good hitting coach.
Yes, he was. And I have fond memories of him just being a Met fan. Very mellow guy, as a matter of fact. And that's sometimes a good quality to have, especially in a 160-game season. the
Right.
ebbs and flows of it all. What's your key to getting along with your teammates? And you've had so many of them.
I think it's just being yourself and being you, being open to change, accepting diversity. I think that's it in a nutshell.
Those are great.
And you know what? It doesn't hurt to be well traveled and well spoken for. I spoke Spanish after playing in the Mexican League, so I could communicate with a diverse background of all the players. I could communicate in their language, and that boded well for me and for them. It was wonderful.
Are you a native, a Filipino? Is that where
I am
you are?
a native New Mexican. So with that said, all the people here are mostly of Hispanic descent from Spain.
Okay. You didn't speak Spanish as a kid. You say
No,
you
I
learned
did not. No, when our parents spoke Spanish, we knew they were talking about us because we were in trouble.
We're a lot alike. My parents spoke Yiddish for the same reason, but I'll bet the proportion of the times that your folks spoke Spanish to avoid the kids were not a mere fraction of the times that my parents used Yiddish just so either to avoid us or to hide things from us. People are people all over. What's your favorite state to live in? I bet it's New Mexico.
Well, I love New Mexico for its beauty, and we're nestled up in the mountains at 7,000 feet elevation. So it's like very similar to Sisters and Bend, Oregon. Very similar.
Oh, yes. First, you got to go through Sisters to get to Bend. And
right.
If you're in awe, if you're doing it for the first time, and you're absolutely in awe of Sisters, just wait 25 miles.
Right.
You see Bend, and wow.
Well, to answer your question, Ralph, I'm going to go with Oregon as the most beautiful state I've ever seen in my lifetime. Beautiful place.
That's a great choice. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So
right.
it isn't a right or wrong answer. I'm just curious about what went through your head, and it was the same thing that went through mine when first I went to Bend.
Well, that's easy to answer. I could not believe the green because of the rain. I couldn't believe all the lakes and how beautiful and pristine they were. I just could not believe my eyes how beautiful everything was. A lot of rivers, a lot of lakes. Beautiful place.
Okay. Hey, I'm going to get to segue to something a little more current in your life.
Okay.
Tell us what happened a year ago.
Well, I had just retired from independent professional baseball in the Pecos League. I had a wonderful game. I was promised a start on July 4th in front of the home crowd in Alpine, Texas, and it rained for 4 straight days. So the manager, Sean Persky, moved me to the bullpen. And I faced one batter, leadoff batter, and I threw 4 pitches to him. On the 4th strike, I shattered his bat for a 4-3 ground out to end my career. I got high fives, hugs. I actually received Player of the Game honors for my one out. And I excused myself for the final couple outs, went to the dressing room and had a good cry. You got to remember, I played 5 decades from 1986 to 2021, which made me 57 years old.
Well,
So
you reminded me there of Minnie Minoso.
No, I loved him for the White Sox, yes.
Right, absolutely. A Cuban. And my father immigrated to this country and had to go through Cuba for a while. They were, it was during the war and this and that.
Wow.
So, but his experience of Cuba was much like yours and mine in seeing a new place, the beauty of it all, the women, the gambling, he said, and this was before my mother, so it was back in the days when he was enjoying himself. I'm only kidding, and rest in peace, Vivian. You kept the man happy for a lot of years, but he never stopped talking about Cuba. That's all his life.
So to finish my story, I pitched July 6th in Alpine, Texas. This is 2021. I came home retired, and I had already retired as a bank executive, 25-year career. And I took a little job, DoorDash, and that particular day I'm talking about, I had already come back from my last start, which was win 459 in amateur baseball. I pitched in Palm Springs, California, and I drove back, made it okay, took this little job, and one day I went into Jersey Mike's to have a sandwich, and they gave me a cookie and a root beer to see me on my way. So I'm driving home, and I don't know, my left hand, arm, my left leg all went numb. And I said, oh my God, what is wrong with me? Something is gone awry with my body. So I looked at my face, and I made sure that there was no droop, because I knew the droop was a stroke. So I proceeded, and I tried to remain calm. I called my brother, and I said, Jack, something's going on with my body, and I wanted to let you know so you can maybe help me on the way. He said, park at a hotel, tell me where you're at, call 911 real quick, and the ambulance will pick you up, and I'll meet you where you're at, and I'll follow you to the hospital. I said, okay. So I called, and I get a knock on my window, and it's the gentleman from the ambulance, and he said, Rod, we're here to pick you up. I said, okay. I said, I'm going in and out. I'm about to faint. I'm sorry, but I'll do whatever you guys ask me. So they got me in the ambulance, and they said, Rod, your blood pressure is real high. And I said, hey, I need you to help me stay alive this weekend. I got to be on a plane tomorrow. I got to be in Florida. I got to pitch on Monday. He says, whoa, Rod, calm down. You're not going anywhere tomorrow. No doctor in his right mind is going to let you fly on a plane, much less pitch a baseball game on Monday. You're having a bad, massive stroke. You need to calm down. Okay, I will. And the rest is history. That day, I got admitted, and then I got sent to Albuquerque UNM Hospital, where they placed me in an induced coma for a month as I had a hemorrhagic stroke. My brain was badly bleeding. So that started a 15-month journey of therapy, and you're just trying to beat the paralysis and walk and use your left extremities, and it's been a journey, let me tell you.
I can well imagine.
But I'm alive. I lived through it.
You also documented and continue to document your experience on Facebook.
I've been writing books. I've been writing 2 more books, and they will be published because I've been working hard on the story.
I'm sure I'm not your only fan. Tell me about some of the people who have reached out to you.
Well,
that have helped you, that you have helped. I'm sure there are people, and I know there are people, who benefit from your guts, your experiences. Tell me about some of the people you've helped and the satisfaction that's brought to you.
What's interesting is I have a really nice following on social media. I think I've got the max of 5,000 fans on Facebook, and they're all telling me that it's a very inspirational story. So I appreciate that, but these people have literally kept me going. They have given me hope, and they have given me my life to where I think and know that I can overcome this, walk again, and be fully recovered in due time.
Beautiful. What keeps you going when you're down and out?
Well, I have not been down and out. I think my faith has persevered, my family. Being a sports athlete, you know that you got to keep fighting and working hard. You never say never. You don't have a dull moment. You keep fighting. You stay in the fight. My father fought in Normandy, so I think somewhere inside me I have his fight, but I know that I have my faith, and God is in my heart, and He'll never let me down. And that's all I can tell you. I just keep fighting, and I know what I got to do, and I keep a really positive attitude, and it's all go, go, go from here.
Tell me about your dad and what he passed on to you. Not just the Normandy experience.
Yeah, my father was a real genuine, kind man. He was a gentle soul, very quiet. I think what I really remember about my dad mostly was his humility. He was just a humble man, just real kind and quiet. A father of 5, 4 boys and a daughter. All but one went to college with a degree. Everybody had a career. But his overall faith in God and his faith in going to church and prayer, and I never quit anything in my life, and I owe that to my father because he just he stood up for his country, and he fought for his country, and there's something to be said about someone like that. Humility.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Rodney, keep on keeping on.
Yes, sir.
That's what I implore you to do. Take it as far as you can every day. And
yes, sir.
Find some time to enjoy life again.
Yes, sir. I'm working on that really hard.
All right. Rodney, I can't tell you how much I respect you, and I respect your fight and your gumption and you have an internal fortitude.
And I wanna thank you for something that I never thanked you for. I want to thank you for putting me in your book. Thank you for that.
Oh, well, my book would not have been a book without your story. So it's my pleasure. And Rodney, you come back again on a regular basis. It's been too long.
I'd love to. Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
Beautiful. Bless you. I don't
Thank you.
And I don't say bless you, and your blessings don't have to be from anybody but yourself. What's inside of you. And
Thank you.
Keep it going. Keep up the good fight. And
I will do so, sir. Thank you.
All right. You're on the Comfortably Zoned Radio Network, everybody. The guest is Rodney Tafoya. I'm Ralph Tycho, the weak link of it all. All I want to do is say adios and happy trails.
The proceeding has been a Comfortably Zoned network production. You are advised to keep your dreams wet, your humor dry, your children and grandchildren out of military recruiting offices and off the laps of clerics who wear dresses. Thank you for listening, everyone. Happy trails.